What's that, Mr. Bear? You need to stop with the jokes, Mr. Bear. They're becoming unbearable. When you first heard that one, did it leave you in stitches? Something about a panda bear.
David.
I know, I kind of ran out of steam on that last one.
You're talking to a stuffed Valentine's Day bear.
Well, yeah, but he's talking back. Can't you hear him? Look, say something to Matt, all right? Something that I'm sure he'll appreciate. No, Mr. Bear, that's illegal. Mr. Bear, you shouldn't joke about that. No, Mr. Bear, why would I ever want to hurt it? No. Mr. Bear, you can't hurt him. You can't hurt nobody no more. You can't hurt nobody no more. What was I doing? Right, for you. We watched a movie. Oh, God! Movie today. What was it called, Matt? Come on, title.
A Talking Pony's Tale.
Nope. Pony's Talking Tail. Nope. Wait. Tale of a Talking...
The Aristocrats.
It was actually a pony's tale on Netflix, but on IMDb and everything else.
And also at the very last credit in the movie, it's a talking pony, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point.
Does that sound familiar? Because it should, if you've tuned in for a while. It's the sequel to A Talking Cat, which was one of our first Dakota films ever. Yes, it's Dakota time again. Brace yourself.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
I'm going to defend myself by saying it was fun. Shall I give a plot?
Sure.
Okay.
It's fucking fuck festival. Fucking.
Juliet.
Yeah.
Was a girl growing up on a ranch with her horse Horatio, along with her
See a theme here?
Her stepmothers and her two douchebag stepbrothers.
See a theme here?
They fortunately are going to have to sell the ranch because they can't pay it off anymore. But a man named Mr. Beetle, I can't quite remember, and his son, Wesley, they come up and they offer them a deal, saying, we'll buy this ranch from you and turn it into a mall or parking lot or something. And that way you'll not have to foreclose with the bank and, you know, not get any money out of it. And so they're thinking about signing the deal, but then Juliet gets hit on the head with a lucky horseshoe, and all of a sudden, she can hear Horatio talk. She thinks, wait, this might just be enough to save the ranch. But there's one problem. She's fucking insane. No one else can hear it. She's just nuts. So...
And her first inclination is not that she has something wrong.
Not that she has head trauma.
It's that she has magic.
So...
Because it was the dad's lucky horseshoe.
She's trying to convince Wesley, who is just head over heels in love with Juliet, that the horse actually can talk. And they think, what if we put him through the same stuff as I went through? She bonks him over the head with a horseshoe.
3 times.
Like 5 times.
Yeah.
Just boom, 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 boom. You hear him yet? Boom.
Or is the concussion blocking your hearing?
Eventually, it works. I know, shocking. And Wesley can now hear the horse as well. Meanwhile, while all of this is going on, there's a subplot of the father of Wesley who doesn't quite understand this nature business and only trusts man-made objects as they can't get him sick. As
he has drink water.
Many allergies and medical conditions. But the mother, the stepmother, who isn't wicked, mind you, she's very nice.
She's stupid.
She treats him and shows him the wonders of nature and massage therapy.
Tea.
And tea. And he eventually learns his ways were wrong, and he's like, look, I want you to sign this deal, but I'm not going to make you move out. I'm going to turn this into a ranch where we can have plenty of people come and discover nature's true wonders. So the entire talking horse bit didn't actually matter at all. The subplot was actually the only
You think they were going to Charlotte's Web this shit? They even mentioned Charlotte's Web in it?
Yep, nope, not a thing. So, in the end, talking horse, but they have to keep it a secret. The stepbrothers learn that it's a talking horse as well through stupidity. The stepbrothers are throughout the movie.
Bad jokes.
Yeah, very. Oh my god, the bad jokes. And that's the plot. There you go. Fucking done. If it sounds like a kids movie, because it is a kids movie. Technically, this wasn't one even directed by Dakota. Technically, this was Mary Crawford,
which is one of the pseudonyms that he uses whenever he makes like a children's movie or a family film. He did that with a talking cat.
Because for some reason, people don't trust the guy who made 1313 to make kids films. I know, it's crazy.
To be fair, he also made horror movies in the 80s and whatnot.
I did do that.
But then again, at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I can't really say for all certainty how many people who actually know David Dakota by name besides us.
We are a select few. Let's talk about the cat, shall we?
I do appreciate that he did join the No Hate campaign. I will give you props for that, buddy. But it doesn't excuse your movies.
Juliet, played by a girl.
Who's only been in one other thing besides this, and I don't even remember what the fucking thing was.
Was it THG?
The Beginning.
The Beginning.
Something like that. Yeah. Like, I don't remember. Nothing.
We currently don't have access to IMDb, so we're running off memory here.
But. Two things.
Wait, hold on. Well, we're talking about Juliet. I know what you're talking about. We'll get there when we get there.
There's two actors besides her. That shockers.
We'll get there when we get there. Juliet, how was she?
Shockers.
I think she was capable.
She was capable.
She was very capable.
I can't really say much. I can't really say anything really bad about her because the script is bad. It's pretty bad.
Terrible.
And it's written by a guy who's only written one other film, which is the Dakota film called The Easter Bunny Puppy.
Which, dear God, I hope we get to.
I bet you do. But the fact of the matter is, it's the script is. I mean, I know Dakota is because of the way that this shit is put together. He's they shot this shit over a weekend or something like that, and
that's giving him a lot of credit.
That's giving him a lot of credit because the fact of the matter is just, I don't know. You know what? I would actually really love to talk to David Dakota about his process in making these movies. Why? He's made a shit ton of movies in the last couple of years. I don't know how many movies he keeps pumping out with every single year.
At least 13.
He's pumped out a lot. But, it's mind-boggling to me how bland the shit is. Because, literally, this is Romeo and Juliet meets Cinderella meets Flicka.
That's basically it. That settles it all. It meets a talking cat. Alright, that's enough about Juliet. Let's get on to Wesley, the love interest. The
only thing he's ever been in.
Only thing he's ever been in, and I can understand why. Nothing against the actor himself. He did have one or two good lines, but again, he was kind of
flat.
He came from the rich kid. He not the dude himself. I don't know about him, but the actor was the character was a rich kid, and so he was very much yes, father doesn't let us do fun things, and father does this. And it's hard to get emotion.
Father does what father wants.
It was only once he started talking to the horse, he was like, yes, nature's wonderful and beautiful. Thanks, Dad, I love you.
And he was the beginning. Alright, I could tell from the very beginning conversation between this dad and the kid when they're driving in the car.
Okay.
This thing took a note right out of Birdemic. Seriously. Two things I realized. One, it was going to be preachy as fuck when it came down to the environmental messages.
There was the entirety of the conversation, I think, between the dudes was, look around here, son. What do you see? I see trees and beautiful lakes and tons of animals.
Vistas you see in postcards. Yeah, wasted space.
These could be apartment buildings and malls and
factories. Industry. It's yeah, seriously, man.
Nobody has ever once acted like that.
I have seen. All right, there's a wonderful little character. This brings a movie way the fuck out of nowhere when it comes down to it. But this is the first thing that comes to my mind: the Santa Claus movie from the 1980s with John Lithgow as the main villain of this character. He's harnessing the powers and whatnot to make money and whatnot, and he's a one-note character who's only interested in making the profits and controlling shit and whatnot. That's really what this guy is. He only cares about profits and whatnot, but this guy has less dimensions than the villain does in Avatar. Okay?
To be fair, though, at least he goes through a character change throughout the movie.
Change, yes. Not even a development. It just kind of happens because she resets his spine and makes him a cup of tea. Fuck you.
We're going to have to talk about that.
We gotta talk about the dad.
The dad.
This is one of the things that I was going to bring up.
Mr. Beatles is the character name, but we don't care about that. We don't even care about the actor name at this point. We care about what the actor has been in the past. Start
the primary thing.
No,
now,
no.
all right.
No. Start at the very, very, very beginning.
The very beginning. It began in 1999. For the furthest back that we've been able to find this, and he starred in 2 movies that were both Dakota.
He got his start with Dakota and came back 20 years later almost.
I think that's the reason why they got this actor.
And why is this actor important, Matthew?
It's Wes.
It's Wes.
It's Wes.
Does that not mean anything? Here, who is it?
It's Wes from Power Rangers Time Force.
He's the fucking Red Ranger!
Yeah.
Now, a lot of our viewers, I don't know if you even get Power Rangers, I don't know if you grew up with Power Rangers, but motherfucking Wes.
It's Wes.
Fuck.
Okay, now anybody who's actually watched any of the Power Rangers ones and whatnot, like, when it comes down to Time Force, it's probably one of the better incarnations of the Power Rangers.
We haven't really watched, like, the most recent 10 seasons.
Yeah.
But from the older seasons, damn good.
Especially since it wasn't intersplicing the Japanese original show with American footage. It actually was all original shit.
Well, no, there was some. But yeah, I know.
For the most part, it was.
They shot a lot of original shit.
Yeah, and especially when it came down to like the fight scenes and whatnot, there was plenty of shit they actually mixed in. But the fact of the matter is, though, this was probably the most original they got to Power Rangers at the time. And the characterization was decent and whatnot, but this is not a thing about Power Rangers. If you want to watch a thing about Power Rangers, go watch Linkara. But the fact of the matter is,
it broke our little hearts.
At first I thought that I recognized him from somewhere.
I thought I recognized him too, but I thought I was thinking like Rob Lowe. Because he looks
a little bit like Rob Lowe.
I was just thinking like, oh, he's just a Rob Lowe stand-in, whatever.
Nah, he's
Wes.
He
was his own motherfucker.
He's Wes. And like he hasn't been in much of anything else since then. He's been in an episode of The Deadliest Warrior where he plays Alexander the Great, I'm pretty sure. Which is actually a pretty awesome show. Go watch it. Much better watching this movie. But there's one other actor in this.
Well, hold on. I want to finish. What did we think of Wes?
He was so cartoonish.
He was like, Dakota handed him the script and said, okay, your character literally hates everything about life. He looked at a tree and said, so this tree is life, right?
This tree is alive, right? It's so unnatural.
What? Fucking what?
What?
I don't...
It's like, do you drink water? No, doesn't drink water because of it.
Pipes rusted, fish peanut. He was the stupid character.
Squandered talent here. And I'm not saying necessarily that this actor is extremely good, but at the same time, he's competent.
He has more potential than you gave him, Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, like, also, the fact of the matter is that you worked with this guy on 2 movies before starting this guy's career. You should have given him a better part for this.
Which makes me think that he just, like, called him up and was like, hey, I kind of need you to...
You want to shoot on a weekend at my summer house? I'll feed you.
Yeah, this was Dakota's summer house. If you watch our 1313 series...
This is his house in Canada.
Billy the Kid, Bigfoot Island, and assorted shots from random other ones.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moving on to the second biggest actress.
The actor who plays the mom. She was also in The Talking Cat. But then I realized what she's been in.
This is all him.
This is me.
I got nothing.
Because I've actually, unfortunately, seen this movie. Now, she has had a ton of different individual credits in television and whatnot, from, like, The Young and the Restless through, like, fucking whatever. But the first major movie credit that I've found in this actress's repertoire...
Real quick, before you did. When he saw this, he had his phone in his hand. We were still watching the movie at the time. He had his phone in his hand. And then the phone was off, and it was thrown into his lap with him like this. No exaggerating. It was... Bleh!
I didn't realize that this was connected. This actress... Alright, if anyone of you has seen The Cinema Snob, he's actually reviewed this movie. It's a wonderful little movie called Alice in Wonderland, the X-rated musical.
I didn't actually... Liquid.
Now, if anybody needs clarification, this is a musical porn version of Alice in Wonderland shot in 1975. The woman is Alice. The woman plays Alice. I've seen this woman fuck half a cast of characters here. Okay? I was not mentally prepared for this. I'm like, wow, I have seen her... Wow. Holy shit. I have no words. I have no words.
And now she's like this unassailable mother character in this movie with like no negative traits to her at all.
Except that she can't cook anything besides lasagna, which lasagna is not exactly easy to cook and whatnot.
Cook properly.
Yeah, and whatnot. You can probably have lots of bad lasagna with the carrots and shit.
All right. So those were the two people in this movie. We were like, the fuck. I was more freaking out over Wes.
And also, the guy who does the voice of the horse, he also plays the dad in A Talking Cat.
It's the most incestuous cast I've ever seen.
I mean, yeah. Like, I'm not against people reusing, cast in different movies and whatnot. Tons of really good directors have done. No. Tons of really good directors have done that too. Scorsese does it all the goddamn time and whatnot. But Spielberg does it. But the fact of the matter is, they're playing the same fucking characters over and over again.
Yeah.
And we don't have... Alright, when
the one guy was playing a horse, and he was playing a horse again. No, wait. No, he wasn't.
But the thing is, though, like... At least in A Talking Cat, the guy that got to do the cat's voice and whatnot was drunk the whole goddamn time, so it was funny.
He was actually an actor.
He just... The guy who made the voice of the horse in this one just...
Okay. Alright.
Alright.
This isn't about the horse. This is about the writing for the horse.
Yes.
He cracks bad horse jokes the entire goddamn movie.
I have a friend who makes nothing but puns. And the fact of the matter is, he does make a lot of puns way past the point where you should.
Which is one.
I mean, once in a while he'll have a good point and whatnot. But other than that and whatnot, sometimes you can get, like, burrowed into your brain.
Well, that's the thing. This movie had, like, a few good jokes. None of them
we actually laughed a couple times.
We laughed out loud at least 3 times.
And I know some people and whatnot have said it's I remember one of the critiques that we had for our Atlantis Milo's return review is like, wow, you only chuckled twice and whatnot. It's like, you guys are really just looking at bad stuff in the movies. The problem is we are looking for good shit.
Yeah.
We are trying to pick through the manure here. I hate manure! Like, seriously, I feel like I'm Back to the Future. Seriously, Jesus Christ.
Can I say the joke that made us laugh?
Go for it.
When the girl, the first one that I can remember.
This is like the beginning of the movie,
The girl gets hit on her head. Actually, it's like a third in before it actually happens. But yeah.
The beginning of the movie.
The girl gets hit on her head with a horse. She passes out. She wakes up. The horse is talking. And there's this exchange. You be the horse. I'll be the girl. Okay? And now I'm hearing voices.
What voices?
Horse voices.
Oh, they sound anything like me?
Yes, they sound exactly like you. That part got a chuckle out of it. It was situational, or we were waiting for something. But it was funny. There was another one where it was Wesley. The stepbrothers, their entire plot revolves around them trying to make back money that they've been gypped out of throughout the entire...
These guys... I find it funny that I call them Tweedledee and Tweedledum, another pair of people who fucking fuck Alice in that movie.
And then just before I found out that Wes was Wes, I called them Skull and Bulk from Power Rangers fame as well. We just kind of fell into place with this one.
We just kind of knew before we knew.
It was really good. Their entire thing is making back money, and there's one point where they're playing a game where they pull out a card, and if they... Wesley and Juliet can guess what the card is out of full 52 card deck, then they can keep the money. Otherwise, they have to pay back everything that they have.
Triple.
And then
or like double or whatever.
And then the horse is standing behind him, and he's saying the card names, and then they're saying it because the twins can't, or not the twins, the brothers can't understand it at this point. And there's one part in there where it's like, all right, now only Pretty Boy can guess. What card is it now? And the horse is like, it's King of Diamonds. And Pretty Boy's like...
I love how they also draw the cards, too. It's like, now what card is this?
Then the Wesley's like, well, I don't know. I'm just going to have to take a random King of Diamonds. It was like just the biggest middle finger to these two. and I loved it.
This is one of the...
You laughed. Go fuck yourself.
It was, but like I said, it was one of the funnier moments in the movie, and that's stressing a lot here.
Yeah, it is very...
I mean... and let's get to the point of the fact of the matter is we timed this, yet again.
Yeah. An hour-and-a-half long movie.
An hour of which was plot.
We only cut out, the only things we cut out of this hour-and-a-half long movie
were the screensaver shots.
Were these times where opening credits, closing credits, and points where no plot is being formed at all. I'm not talking about like character development. I'm talking about fucking nobody is talking, music is playing over, and by all rights, it's most likely just staring at a lake. There were a few times that we didn't count where she's like riding on a horse or something, but fuck it, that mattered.
And random music cutting in and out.
Jesus
3
Christ.
songs within a minute.
It was beautiful!
It was so painful.
It was beautiful!
Fuck you!
Well, it was beautifully painful.
That's like saying, like, it hurts so good.
Yeah.
Like...
It literally was in the middle of a song. It didn't even fade out. Middle of a note.
It didn't even fade out, it just cut.
It cut. Smash cut. To like this weird... It's the ending
country
credits.
song.
And the ending credits, like country... Yeah, we're friends, and we're gonna spend a lot of time together because we're friends. And
then cuts to, like, piano. It cuts to Come Sail Away, basically, from Stags. I mean...
It's fucking dreadful the way that the editing in this movie was done. In sound editing and video editing.
And the editor of this movie has worked with Dakota for like 12 years. So he's done an insane amount of movies. He's also directed his own movies too. And he's directed a couple of the he's edited a couple of the 1313 movies. Like, I mean, the thing is, like, I understand that there's a market for fucking everything out there. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is there really a market big enough to market this shit to?
Let's talk about that then. If we're viewing this from a purely, this is meant for kids. I know we can get into the whole Don Bluth, kids can handle a lot of heavy shit.
No, I'm not even going to get into that.
But let's assume that
random pander shit.
Let's assume that kids can't handle that kind of shit. And the current market of kids' movies is literally all they're able to handle. Would this be able to stand up in that market?
No.
Why? What about this can't even suit kids? For me personally, it's the fact that it's somehow far too cartoony without actually. It's like almost like it wraps around in a way. Each of the characters is so
self-defeating.
Yeah, so cartoony that they're like, no, these characters can't even exist in a cartoon. That's how cartoony
I was telling David when we were watching the movie and whatnot, like, this would only make sense in a cartoon, and even then it's stretching it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's saying a lot. You're able to get away with so much shit in a cartoon. I've expected Tom and Jerry to peek out around the corner half the time. Because all this movie is barely silent. And whenever it actually plays music, either it's those random cuts or it's hijinks music. It's all the goddamn hijinks music that you expect to see in old, like, Hanna-Barbera cartoons for the most part.
When my father died, I didn't think I'd ever cry.
I mean, like... what else can I actually say about this movie that we haven't already ripped into Dakota before?
Honestly, if you really want to know the rest of our opinions just about the entirety of this movie, Talking Cat. Watch that review.
Yeah.
We probably said the exact same thing 10 billion times there.
I'm just going to wrap it up. Like,
all right, go ahead.
I'm wrapping up my shit
go
here.
Ahead.
See, the fact of the matter is, though, like, the last thing that I can say about this movie is that it had a little bit of novelty. I did rage quit.
Oh, yeah.
I did rage quit, like, near the end of the movie or whatnot, where they decided to drop a reference to Cool Hand Luke.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
No! You do not destroy my memory of one of the greatest Paul Newman movies ever. Period. No. See, and that's me and whatnot. I'm a movie purist when it comes down to certain things, but at the same time, I'm someone who actually advocates people to watch The Room and Troll 2 and all sorts of other bad movies and whatnot because they're enjoyable. This movie's not enjoyable.
Are you telling me you would make a web show telling people to watch bad movies? Weird.
That would be weird for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, the fact of the matter is, though, I still get enjoyment out of those types of movies because one of the reasons why I think that they're good is because they're not self-aware. I think this movie perfectly understands exactly what it's doing. And the fact of the matter is, because it is aware of exactly what it's doing with all the stupid-ass jokes that it decides to do, it defeats its purpose. If it was not aware, if it was like The Room, where it was just bad incidentally, and the people are really trying to make something and whatnot, even though it bombs spectacularly, that's one of the reasons why it makes all these so bad it's good movies. Anybody who's actually seen The Killers on our channel and whatnot, directed by Zach Eshbaum, Zach Eshbaum wrote a really great article all about the so bad it's good movies and whatnot. And one of his stipulations was that it cannot be something that is aiming to be a bad movie. It's something that incidentally becomes one. And he makes a really good point about it and whatnot. Like, I don't have a link to it to show you, but at the same time, though, if you can try to find it online, you'll be able to find it. It's a really good read. But the fact of the matter is, my last bit of it, like, this movie could fade from existence, and the only fact of the matter is that we would completely forget that Wes and Alice, who fucked everybody, is in this movie. I have nothing against these actors and whatnot. I hope Dakota paid you more than just feeding you for the weekend or something like that. So I hope it was worth it. I hope you guys had some fun while you were on set, at least. There you go. Your move.
Okay, my final thought. Okay, whatever. Watch your phone. My final thoughts. I don't even know where to begin on these. It's a problem of there's I don't know. There's a point where I agree with Matt. First off, I agree with you entirely that it can't aim to be a bad movie. And I feel like it was self-aware. It knew what it was going into it. But at the same time, I feel like it's just one of those children's films where it's just like, there's not a complex plot. Must be for kids. And that's all you really needed. So I don't feel like it was aiming to be a bad movie. It was aiming to be a kid's movie, which in their world has coincided with the bad movie Venn diagram. That's the way I see it.
They watched Spy Kids 4.
Fuck that. Go fuck yourself. No. I really, really have been looking forward to this movie. You can ask Matt. As soon as we saw it was announced. Like, I looked through Dakota's stuff when we were doing 13 month, however many months ago at this point. And I saw, listed right there, upcoming projects, A Talking Pony. I was like, holy fucking shit. And then they removed like half of Dakota's films off of Netflix. And I got a little bit sad because I didn't think Talking Pony would ever show up. But then there was this one, A Pony's Tale. And then we read it and it was the same movie and it blew my fucking mind. And I really was expecting worse. Because Dakota's been on this downwards trend for a while. And I really wanted worse.
Well, 13.
It wasn't that bad is the worst part. It wasn't that bad. It was bad. Don't get me wrong. It hit every cliche in the book. I mean, just with the naming schemes, even. Juliet and Horatio. First off, that's two totally different Shakespeare plays, but that's nitpicking on a whole new level. Second off, the fact that the son of the dude who played the Power Ranger Wes was named Wesley, that was fun. Like, we were trying to discuss the characters right after the movie, and we were like, so Wesley, wait, which one? But no, I don't know. I don't know what I'm upset with in this movie. That I wanted it to be worse, or that it was as bad as I could have expected.
It's even worse because it was a disappointment on how not as bad as you thought it was going to be. So
it was like a little bit of both. It definitely wasn't up to be a good movie, so it dipped beneath that, and then it didn't reach my terrible expectations, so it got even worse there. So it just barely scraped above my horrible expectations, but that's not saying a lot. Not in Dakota land. Not at all. So what do I have to say about this movie in the end? In a universe where absolutely nothing makes sense, I'm just surprised nobody walked in and said, hello? Hello? Which, to be fair, they missed their opportunity to do. Also,
they almost did it.
This is, again, just nitpicking. What possible scenario could a person think they're talking to animals, think they're talking to non-sapient creatures, and say, yeah, this probably isn't a brain injury. What brain injury, what illness at all could cause you to think you're hearing from non-sapient objects?
Oh, actually, here it says it's psychosis brought on by a brain hemorrhage.
Okay, so a brain hemorrhage. You got hit in the head with a fucking horseshoe, and it's a brain hemorrhage. So now this takes a much more grim tale if you look at it like that. What are the symptoms? Let's see how many of these characters had.
Let's see. Talking to inanimate objects.
All right, the characters had that. Now like, oh dear God, get away! Okay, so maybe like kind of shared with the real world, but not a lot of
Let's see here. Also, reviewing bad movies constantly on the internet by freedom of choice.
What list are you reading from? Because that doesn't seem. Oh, okay. WebMD. No, it's okay, good.
And let's see the last one. Replacing random words with even more random words.
Okay, so I guess maybe they didn't have a brain hemorrhage in the thing. But 2 out of sun chips isn't bad. What? I just said 2 out of Marvel Comics isn't bad. Poster board. Couch stuffing. Glass statuette. Biscuit gravy. Biscuit gravy. Monkey wrench. Horseshoe. Horseshoe. Monkey wrench horseshoe.
And now he had a stroke.
Horseshoe!
We'll be back.